my mom. She's gonna talk shop, teach you guys all business stuff. What was hard about it?
No, nothing. Noah was a very easy baby. He was very easygoing. We could go anywhere with him. It was always very well behaved.
What about as an adolescent?
He's very easygoing. Never really got into trouble. Very minor things. We don't have any. Well, I have gray hair now, but I mean, it didn't. This boy, from when he could crawl, he was very ambitious. Always wanted to work. Always. He had so many businesses. As a little kid, he did.
Do you remember any of the early ones?
The babysitting.
The babysitting. I did umpiring at baseball games.
You worked at the popcorn stand.
Popcorn stand.
You always worked in the summer.
I also sold books, anything that I had that I could sell.
He sold my.
I sold to my aunt, yeah, because she was having kids, so I sold my books to her.
And he negotiated with her. He won.
Yeah, I got $50, which back then, I mean, $50 used to be like an exorbitant amount of money.
Through college, he was always an entrepreneur, always. God, there's so many things that you did. I can't even remember. So many things you sold. So many activities. I would say, stop doing so many activities. You're doing this now. You're doing this. You're doing that. You started a newspaper in high school. This is not something new. This is the way Noah's been, always. And how do you raise some? No, you have to set an example too.
That's a good point.
I mean, we've always been very hardworking. Always talked about college as the next progression after high school. There was no such thing as, what are you going to do after high school? It was always part of high school. You never said, what are you going to do after junior high school? It was always natural to go to high school. So it was always part of the conversation.
Do you still think it makes sense? So when my brother's kid gets bigger, do you think he must go to college?
Yep.
Why?
Because I think there's a lot of advantages to going to college, a lot. Not just getting a job. I think it helps to develop your sense of confidence. It develops socialization. It teaches you independence, how to take care of yourself, how to resolve conflict. Maybe when you're in college and you're in a dorm, you don't get along with your roommate, but you kind of have to, or figure out some other way to make things work out. I think there's other advantages to going away to college, yes. Why, what do you think?
A lot of things I learned in college, like U.S. economic history, U.S. history of economics, it's not really applicable, or learning the financial accounting system. Not really that helpful, but learning things like how to become a photographer. So kind of the trade schools and the Harvards will kind of unite somewhere offline and online.
Yeah, something a little more specific.
Yeah, because if you start looking at schools as an investment, right? We put Berkeley, it was I don't know, probably hundreds of thousands. But how much did that really help me make afterwards? And I think people will start really saying, do I have to actually go do this? Is there other ways? Like Chad, who never went to college. Where do you think you got your work ethic from? Where you said lead by example.
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. I don't know. I've always been hardworking. I've always wanted my own money. I didn't want anybody to give me money. I had to have my own money. So I always worked. Babysitting, car washing. Let's see. I was a maid in a hotel. Then what else? Maid in a hotel. McDonald's. I worked for a company, Paradise Pines. I was a secretary at San Jose City College. What was SIVA Pharmaceuticals? I worked always. When I was in high school, we didn't have all this stuff. Computers and cell phones and things that you push a button, remote controls. You don't even have to get up off your couch to change the TV. We didn't have that.
But I think that's also on the flip side, it's you got to stay ahead of it now. Especially the younger people, they're all into it, and it's if you're not part of it, you're going to be missing out.
Right now, I'm lost. Hey, man.
Yeah, it's hey, open the attachment. Open the attachment. There's no attachment here. Open the attachment. It says open.
I'm impressed. I am the building itself is absolutely stunning, and it all started off with an idea from Noah that grew into this, with help, of course, with everybody here. Couldn't do it by himself, into this big successful business. And I'm very proud of Noah. We are not surprised, because whatever he does, he's the kind of guy that if something doesn't work out, he will figure out a way to make it work out. Always been that way. Well, this is kind of funny. I don't understand exactly what the product is. So it's because again, it's very high tech and technical stuff, which I'm not that familiar with. So I never did understand. If somebody comes up to me and asks me what is, because I had a T-shirt on which I brought. It says Sumo on it, and they loved this T-shirt. And I said, oh, this is my son's company. And she goes, oh, what does he do? And I said, oh, online stuff.
When I first started it, I wasn't at Marty's apartment. The first time I launched one of the bigger deals, it was the productivity bundle. I was at Marty's dorm in UC San Diego.
I remember the reason why you said you were looking for these things online and they didn't exist.
These deals.
These deals, and they didn't have them. So that's when you said, well, if I can't find them, somebody else is looking for them, and I want these deals. So that's when he got the idea. He does stuff that I cannot do. He's got a great sense of direction. He's got a lot of patience. Sometimes when I hesitate about buying something, oh, this is too much. Oh, I don't want to. No, I could hear Noah saying, just stop thinking, just buy it. You can, like, if I really hesitate.
Then you can return it later.
So I think that's probably something big.
I think with you, the one thing that you've gotten better at is like you were a nurse for a long time and you always hated your job. Sometimes you do things that you don't enjoy for a long period of time when you don't even have to anymore. And so I think you've gotten better at that.
That comes from having work ethics and not just giving up. And you know.
I think there's a balance. I think it's just making sure that the work you're working on is something that the result is worth it. And I think you've gotten better at saying, oh, I don't know if I want to be doing certain things anymore.
And I don't like the double standards. I feel like if, my husband's working, I'm working too. I'm not going to sit around at home watching soap operas while he's working, so.
All right, 3, 2. All right, try it again. 3, 2.
Oh, wait, what are you going to?
3, 2, 1.